Good day, everybody. My name is Toshi Futamata, Research Associate in the University of Tokyo. Today, I would like to deliver a lecture on the international IP negotiation. Under the changing negotiation environment, I would like to describe how you should manage your IP negotiations. This topic should ultimately contribute your business goal. I hope you will enjoy it. Let me introduce the content today. Part 1 explains the positions of IP negotiation and basic concept of IP negotiations. Part 2 explains the process of IP negotiations. I will touch on 2 steps of negotiation, namely preparation and persuasion. Both steps are base for your final contract management. After Part 1 and Part 2, summary will come. The negotiation environment is undergoing drastic changes. I will identify 3 aspects of these changes. First are the counterparts or players in the negotiations. There are now many various kinds of such counterparts. So in addition to traditional companies, various types of companies are now in competition with one another. These include companies entering from other business lines or those from, for example, developing countries. Second is a change in the subject of the negotiation and the way of negotiations. For example, when Edison invented the light bulb, the subject of negotiation was extremely simple, so to say, the light bulb itself. Today, however, the subject of the negotiation was not only the light bulb, but related product, wide range of products, and sometimes new business model. Products come software-rich, completely new business model emerge from product, like Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc. Negotiation theory is continuously evolving. Negotiation theory is nowadays well framed in academic studies. The most great achievement was the job done by Professor Roger Fisher in his book Getting to Yes in 1981. Negotiation theory prior to this book was called distributive negotiation, or zero-sum game with one winner, one loser. This is simple but harsh negotiation, struggling over one piece of pie. Because this fixed pie bias is quite deeply seated, most people easily stuck in a negotiation and could not find solutions. This negotiation style will face increasing difficulty in more complicated business environment. Professor Fisher and Uri have proposed instead principled negotiation, a new style, a negotiation style that focuses on principles or putting problems in third neutral corner, and both negotiators will tackle on the problem together. It is totally different from distributive negotiations. The principled negotiation has certain weakness because it's sometimes overemphasizing relationship. So new challenges is how to negotiate with difficult people. In the 2000s, by facing with increasing complicated confronting interests, negotiation theory developed further. For example, behavioral economics, organizational behavior theory, cognitive psychology, and other academic research. The purpose of today's training is not to explain the academic theory of negotiation, but to rather appreciate the achievement of negotiation theory into your business. What is the role of negotiation? Why does company engage in negotiation? Naturally, the answer is to fulfill company's vision and foundation principles. First, the negotiation without company's strategy is nothing but haphazard or random. So it is not a mere negotiation game, but it is in the course of corporate activities. It is immediately obvious, but people often forget about it. Negotiation process is in two stages, as I told you, preparation and persuasion. The preparation stage consists of the work that is done prior to sitting at the negotiation table. It begins with an understanding of the management strategy and include simulation of hypothetical negotiations, which arise in the next stage. The persuasion stage refers to the stage of negotiation table, sitting right across from your negotiation counterpart. After arriving at the basic agreement, so through negotiation, one will finally progress through to the contract drafting stage, typically term sheet or memorandum of understanding. What is negotiation? What is the difference between normal or daily negotiation and IP negotiations? The basics of IP negotiation are mostly same with normal negotiations. However, IP negotiation is comprised from technical negotiation and business negotiations. IP negotiation procedure is especially important in technical negotiation. This is called due diligence. This combination between technical and business negotiation needs highly specialized, often negotiation by turns of specialists. And negotiation period is usually longer than normal negotiation. It is common IP negotiation under the looming risk of litigation. In this sense, it is recommendable to understand the basic of negotiation, plus on top of it, come to the unique aspect of IP negotiation. Next, we see the basic structure of negotiation. Negotiation consists of three stages. The first stage is preparation. The second stage is persuasion, and the third stage is contract. The preparation stage comes before negotiation begins. The negotiation discussed here are face-to-face negotiation, and preparation refer to those things that should be done before reaching the negotiation table. Preparation is a stage that one can control as well as execute imaginatively and in detail. In the second stage, we proceed to the negotiation table and engage in persuasion. Because the negotiating counterpart is also present in this stage, you should keep in mind you can't control your counterparts. Rather, you have to play without predictability. In short, you cannot play your game. However, with elaborated preparation, there might be a chance to play your game. Without proper preparation, you will just be flustered or confused. When the second stage runs successfully, both parties could come to closer to the term sheet or MOU. Stage 1 preparation. Let's start with stage 1 preparation. There are 4 keys advice in this preparation stage: the framing, goal visualization, preparation, check sheet, and task force. Framing. On preparation stage, most important point is framing. You should have to successfully organize the main points of discussion. Without proper organizing the main point of discussion, the negotiation will go off in completely the wrong direction. It is customary for the topic of discussion or agenda to be agreed upon beforehand by both parties. Surprisingly, sometimes the negotiation begins it goes without a clear agenda. Such negotiations are in haphazard and very difficult situation. No progress is of course expected. Agreement upon the agenda will work to clarify the main points of discussion. Keep in mind, the interests of both negotiating parties are usually in conflict. You need to clarify, or you need to framework the point of discussion. Goal of visualization objectively. In the preparation stage, it is also important to have a visual goal. The scorecard is very useful. It could be made by pointing in respective scope of licensing term, form, technology scope, amount, when of payment of royalty, length of contract, geographically scope, or condition like grant back, non-asset provision, etc. So scorecard could check respective points. And BATNA is an acronym for Best Alternative to Negotiated Agreement. BATNA is a fallback position. It is extremely dangerous to start negotiation without BATNA, because without BATNA, you only have limited option. Besides BATNA, you should keep in mind when the music stops and it's time to leave the dance floor, it is often said. Without music, it is no meaning to keep dancing. Regarding the goal, it is wise to know that there is no solution to avoid the least undesirable outcome and take the sub-optimal option. Useful preparatory check sheet. So a check sheet during preparation stage is useful. My check sheet is something like this. At the beginning, you must verify the reason for conducting the negotiation. Next, it is important to conduct due diligence. So you must check whether you have prepared multiple negotiation options and built optimal or appropriate task forces. Time management is substantially important. Negotiation will not proceed according to schedule. It is necessary to place a timekeeper within the team as negotiations are conducted. Japanese companies tend to over-prepare and destructive for perfection, and as a result, it is uncommon for them to be totally exhausted by time they proceed to the next persuasion stage. Negotiation preparation should naturally involve top management and business technical division. It is also important to prepare a partner without fail. Task force is important too. Many personnel there must be involved in IP negotiation from business, technical, IP, and legal department of the company, as well as patent attorney and lawyers from outside the companies. Negotiation leaders come from different departments like I said, IP, legal, business, technical, but it is necessary to have someone with a broad cross-section perspective and negotiation ability. Negotiation leader must have leadership, qualification, and trust of top management without saying. Sufficient testing or cross-checking is available by this task force. Now we move to stage 2, persuasion, the second stage of negotiation. What is persuasion, rapport, the importance of listening, objective standards, psychological bias in negotiations, point of special note in the persuasion stage. What is persuasion? As I told you, negotiation is comprised of 2 different stages. What is the difference between preparation stage and persuasion stage? It is the difference between one-sided work and work involved counterparts. One-sided work means you can do by yourself and you can well control. However, once negotiation started and with counterparts, so you cannot expect so well controlling your counterpart. More specifically, it is important to have your counterpart become actively convinced to go desirable direction. Rapport. The first important fundamental attitude is to discuss with rapport. So to achieve rapport is to build a friendly, amicable relationship with your counterpart. The word came from French in origin and means to build a human relation where both parties listen to what the other party says. This doesn't mean to flatter your counterpart, but instead to create an atmosphere in which dialogue can take place. This is very human elements of negotiation. We must find, surprisingly, in U.S. negotiation, where it's take 10, 15 minutes with such conversation. Conversation means a non-business topic. It is also important to make an effort to maintain rapport, even in the age of widespread internet. So direct meeting have substantial value. Importance of listening. Listening is an important skill set in persuasion stage of your negotiation. Skilled negotiators give off the impression of devoting, so to say, 80% of your resources to listening and bringing out answer from your counterpart. At negotiation training, negotiators are taught again and again, listen, listen, and listen. To listen means to bring out or draw out hint from counterparts. And it doesn't mean to compromise or simply to go along with what your negotiators partner says. One question pattern that should not be a yes or no question. So that is not desirable questioning style. But you have to make an open-ended question, typically 5W1H. Listen is a powerful tool in your negotiation. During stage 2, persuasion, the existence of objective standards can help the smooth clearance of conflict. For example, how value will be assessed if there is a disagreement over monetary amount. Please try to conduct a joint search for standard of measure. This process will help both increased reliance. Once such objective standards are jointly found, no one cannot be dissatisfied with, so to say, own created objective standards. Psychological bias in negotiation. The human side of persuasion makes psychological bias unavoidable, relevant. The Weizmann have summarized into 4 biases. The first bias is the fixed pie bias. It means people believe that the pie is in single fixed size and simply struggle the piece. This is a stereotype psychological bias. Second, he described the vividness bias, or bias towards the information right in front of you, your eyes. It is usually respected because of the human weakness. Even the experienced negotiator are sometimes too quick in making a decision if the solution is just in front of you. So, important point is step back or observe calmly. Third point is the danger of unexpected, irrational escalation of commitment. That's a human emotional error. As discussion generally heat up at the negotiation table, emotion climb high, and it's common to lose an objective point of view. If careless, people can lose sight of reason when on an emotional high, and it is important to think of preventative measure for this beforehand. Fourth is a framing error. When presented with a choice, people change their judgment dependent on how the choices are framed in their presentation. It is quite often happens you need to have a proper framing of the problem. There are several points to keep in your mind during persuasion stage. It is important to keep a balanced stage of negotiation. It says don't dance on a slanted floor. Confirm that both parties are on the same level before proceeding to conduct equal and mutually beneficial negotiation. The word reciprocal or reciprocity is very important word in negotiation. It is important to have equally appropriate degree of promises. In making offer and promises, unilateral compromise may actually invite misunderstanding. Momentum in the negotiation is important too. It's a very important mindset. Such momentum can be maintained only if the desire to move forward is maintained in both parties. To avoid getting caught up in the detail is against to maintain momentum. By maintaining an attitude oriented towards the big goal, negotiation will proceed smoothly. It is also important to respect each other's desire for satisfaction. It is rare to have common interest, but typically there is compatible or similar interest. Neediness is an important word in negotiation. Don't become needy for a contract. The needy one should be the other side, not you. Should you become needy for contract, it will be impossible to control your negotiation. Don't think that the contract is necessary. Finally, neediness leads to very unfavorable outcome. Finally, let me briefly discuss contract management. After preparation and persuasion stage, the negotiations have entered their final stage, namely the formation of basic agreement. Before entering the contract stage, a term sheet or MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, will be created. Once both parties came to general agreement, the term sheet organizes the main point of the contract. Contract will follow the term sheet. The task of creating a contract is called drafting. It is drafted by lawyers. In this drafting process, it is crucial to have a firm imagination for 4 to 5 years into the future. Simply entering into the contract is not in itself the goal, but rather the outcome. Additionally, don't be particular about the form of contract. There are many various forms of contracts, including product development, and it is not so important to stick to one type of contract. Summary. I will now summarize today's discussion. First, I discussed how the environment surrounding negotiation is changing and emphasized the negotiation is a method of achieving management strategy goal. Next, I explained the two stages of negotiation, the preparation stage and the persuasion stage. The method and attitude, each stage is completely different from the other. I explained that the strong psychological element emerges in the persuasion stage, and it is inevitable to have some sort of bias on both sides. However, it is important to acquire the skill to overcome these problems. Finally, I discussed the important point to note in persuasion stage. I hope you will be able to enjoy negotiation. Thank you very much.